Good evening. Welcome to the QCIS channel. Where on this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. And tonight, I'm going to talk about the functions of buried infrastructure. Let me frame it or structure it another way. The importance of buried infrastructure. Now, what is buried infrastructure? Before we move on, well, your buried infrastructure is systems that they function, but they're underground. They're your conduit for your electric. They're your piping systems for your sewers and stormwater. And they're also your gas lines. So basically, you're looking at utilities. And what's included with this buried infrastructure is you got different types of piping systems. PVC pipe, which if you're on DOT projects, you may have Schedule 40, Schedule 35. You're going to have corrugated metal pipe. You're going to have corrugated plastic pipe. You're going to have RCP, which are piping comes in sizes 4, 8, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. They basically go in denominations of 3 or 2. I believe that 72 or 84 inches is the largest you start to get into your culverts. And all of these infrastructure systems, again, are buried underground. They're sealed. Now, it's very important that you understand the functions. Without pipes, and pipes are the main part of your infrastructure, which is buried. Why? Because you have lots of buildings, waste goes into those pipes, all of your water goes into your pipes, and that water gets shipped to a water treatment plant and a wastewater treatment plant. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk about the importance of underground infrastructure, of course, that is constructed. Well, again, underground infrastructure plays a crucial role in every construction project, providing the essential services that enable our modern lives. So without proactive approach to planning and maintaining these utilities, we would quickly fall behind in our path toward sustainable growth and development. Proper underground infrastructure is foundational for the success of any construction project. Essentially, it refers to the vast network of systems that transport essential services such as potable water, wastewater, electricity, natural gas, telecommunications, and of course, stormwater management. So, in an urban setting, the coordination and planning of these systems are particularly crucial given the complexity of crowded city streets and the potential for damage to utilities during the excavation process. So, with growing urban populations, there's an increased demand for resources. The need for efficient underground infrastructure planning is only becoming more acute. So, just to tell you, again, I mentioned it. When there's construction, what they do with construction, they basically, let's say they're putting in a new subdivision. They basically tie the existing infrastructure and the new infrastructure together. I know I worked on a project in Frankfurt and they had a lot of problems with the infrastructure. In fact, when it comes to water systems, they have to test it. They test it to see if the system is working properly. And if it's not, they have to find out what the problem is, go back and retest it because it's crucial that your systems are working properly. Now, again, one aspect of underground infrastructure is ensuring that it encompasses the appropriate design, construction, and inspection of the utilities required for a specific project. Proper design and construction are pivotal in preventing costly issues in the future, such as damage to the underground utilities which are existing. Also, what's involved with that would be service disruptions or emergency repairs. So a thorough inspection process ensures that all of the components of the underground infrastructure are up to standards, embedding a level of safety for both construction workers and the public. Now, when we deal with the infrastructure, there are key components. Now, I've seen the construction, there's a lot of excavation, there's a lot of pipes, boxes that are shipped in, culverts, you name it. And just as mentioned before, they have to be designed to specifications. Your pipes have to fit together. Now, there are several critical elements involved in underground infrastructure planning, each serving with an essential role in the overall success of a construction project. So what I'm going to do is outline four of them, just like I did earlier. First, we talk about water and sewer systems, which are a fundamental requirement for any urban environment because it is a safe and efficient water system that is going to give your citizens clean water and it's going to dispose of waste. And remember, there are meters with some of these systems. This is why citizens get billed. So meters check how much water you're using. Now, these networks comprise of underground pipelines that, again, they transport fresh drinking water. They convey wastewater from residents and industries to treatment plants and manage stormwater drainage to prevent flooding. So, proper installation and maintenance of these systems critical in meeting public health and environmental standards. Number two, gas lines. And as a primary source of energy for heating, cooking, and various industrial processes, natural gas plays a significant role in our everyday lives. Gas lines must be carefully installed, maintained, and monitored to prevent leaks or disruptions, ensuring a secure and efficient flow of the fuel that powers our urban landscapes is crucial. And one thing that you have heard of with these systems, even though they're underground, explosions, leaks, also could be with the load that's placed on top of these systems. It also be the age of the systems, what material these systems used before a disaster occurred. Next, we get into electrical and telecommunications. So in our digital age, power and data networks are indispensable for modern living. They ensure a stable supply of electricity for homes and businesses, as well as providing essential connectivity for the internet, phone, and television services. Installing and maintaining these underground systems require a careful balance of speed, safety, and efficiency, keeping our cities connected while minimizing the impact of construction during construction on existing infrastructure. Next, we deal with stormwater management. As cities expand, additional paved surfaces and rooftops create increased runoff, contributing to flooding, erosion, and water pollution. So well-designed stormwater management systems collect and treat excess runoff, gradually releasing it back into the environment in a controlled manner. This approach contributes to a healthier urban ecosystem, and it migrates the risks associated with flooding, erosion, and water quality degradation. So, overall, one of the most vital considerations in underground infrastructure planning is preparing for future growth and technological advancement. So, as urban populations expand, the design for updated and efficient utilities will continue to increase. So, consequently, civil engineers and contractors must anticipate these shifts by developing strategies that entail minimal disruption to the existing infrastructure. So, by incorporating plans for expansion and upgrades during the initial design and construction stages, cities can save on long term costs and the complications associated with the retroactivity updating utilities or retroactively, yeah, it's retroactivity because you have to update utilities possibly every 20 years. Again, just so I can go over it again for you. So, when it comes to the infrastructure, civil engineers and contractors, they have to sit down and plan. They have to come up with constructability reviews. You have to work on the environment. So, by incorporating plans for expansion and upgrades during the initial design and construction stages, cities can save on long-term costs and the complications associated with retroactively updating utilities. So you don't want to keep updating utilities when you just put in a new system because it's going to cost more money. And like I said, excavation is one of the most expensive activities that you can bear with any construction because you're removing backfill and you may haul it off site and bring in new backfill. There's a lot of time, a lot of machinery that goes into excavation. That's why when you do underground infrastructure, very, very important that you have the right labor and materials and you use it correctly. Again, when we deal with retroactivity or retroactively updating utilities, we want to also make sure our utilities are modernized. Too many cities like New York, Baltimore, Philadelphia, some of these older cities, they have a lot of work they need on their underground infrastructure. I know down in Indianapolis, they're replacing some of those infrastructure. You have to remember, some of these cities date back almost 250 years. Now, again, when we deal with incorporating plans for expansion, this approach also enables seamless transition between utility upgrades and ensures that cities remain functional and efficient as they grow and evolve. That's almost like if you have a natural disaster. What happens is, if you had some infrastructure that was destroyed, well, they're going to close that area where the infrastructure was destroyed, but the area that wasn't destroyed by a natural disaster, they're going to keep that open. That's known as business continuity. Things do happen out there. But eventually, when it comes to infrastructure that's buried, you have to keep it online and you do have to keep it maintained. That means maintenance has to keep all of the inlets clean. I've seen inlets, stormwater inlets that were filled with dirt and mud. Well, the problem with that is you're going to get dirty water that's going to flow into creeks, rivers, and it's going to affect the environment. So, just want to say this. The role of general contractors and civil construction companies, general contractors and civil construction companies, they're integral to the success, design, installation, and maintenance of underground infrastructure. These experienced professionals have the skills, knowledge, and state of the art equipment to ensure underground systems are installed safely, efficiently, and within industry guidelines. So, to minimize costly mistakes during construction, general contractors and civil construction companies should work closely with utility providers, engineers, and city planners. This collaborative approach helps to prevent potential issues and ensures that all stakeholders are enabling the optimal performance and maintenance of crucial underground systems. Furthermore, contractors with a strong focus on environmental sustainability can contribute to developing environmentally conscious or friendly construction practices. This approach may include eco-friendly materials, pollution-reducing innovations, and compliance with government regulations which promote sustainable urban development. Now, again, we have practices for infrastructure installation. So, what city governments do, investing in underground infrastructure is an endeavor that spans decades, shaping the growth and functionality of urban environments. Hence, it is essential to prioritize several critical best practices for installing underground utilities. Number one, when you deal with any project, you must hire experienced professionals. Why? Because assets such as skill, expertise, and a track record of successful projects are crucial for any general contractor or civil construction company. Now, X-Tech Construction, for instance, exemplifies these attributes, ensuring that underground infrastructure is installed safely, it's installed correctly, and efficiently. Again, I just mentioned it before, must prioritize safety. And with everything you're building out there, safety should remain at the forefront of both planning and execution stages. Why? Because safety minimizes risk to workers, the public, and the environment. That's number two. And number three, because we are dealing with the underground, you have to be careful that when you're excavating and you're going to put in brand new infrastructure, watch out for underground storage tanks. You could have contaminated soil. And then when you have contaminated soil, that soil must be removed from the site. And when it's removed from the site, they're going to run it through a dryer to make sure they get the contamination out. Now, you may not be able to use that soil again. So, why am I saying that? Because number three, ensuring regulatory compliance. Proper installation requires adherence to local and federal and state regulations, including government guidelines and standards for construction quality. Now, this last one is very important too. And this is what I do at work. Performing inspections and quality control. Your designs, your planning could be numero uno, but it's the actual field inspection to see how good your design was. Is your design, is the construction, is this underground infrastructure that you just installed going to function properly? And this is very important that you must understand that routine inspections, quality control checks throughout the construction phases ensure that the underground systems are compliant with the project specifications and industry standards. And the overall summary, infrastructure is without a doubt an essential foundation for modern urban living, providing the services that are enabling to provide us comfort, efficient, and sustainable cityscapes. So as cities grow and evolve unprecedentedly, the need for careful underground infrastructure planning, design, and maintenance becomes ever more critical. So partnering with skilled contractors and civil construction companies such as X-Tech Construction ensures that these integral systems are installed and maintained with professionalism, quality, and adherence to regulatory standards. So again, when it comes to any of these projects, as engineers, planners, you can have a great design, but you have to have a contractor that's going to build it. And I will say this, I know this information talked more about the cities. Well, you have to look at the suburbs because they're extensions of the cities, and even going out a little further towards a little bit more rural. You should always, in fact, farmers should have a sustainable system because you don't want your manure from your animals to get into any of the irrigation systems, because what's going to happen, your irrigation systems are going to get right into the creeks and it's going to pollute the creeks. You don't want that to happen either. I mean, basically, when we deal with the infrastructure, we want the infrastructure to be safe. We want it to have functionality, and we want it to be maintained and inspected so we can keep costs down. Because if you want to maintain water, wastewater, your electrical systems, your gas, and your stormwater, you have to make sure that you provide the most effective material for the lowest cost. Sometimes that's hard. But basically, you need underground utilities because it costs a lot of money, particularly if you have overhead power lines. Yes, it costs even more money to keep them underground. But when they're underground, you don't have to worry about a car running into them. And the functionality or functionability is much greater. But again, this video was an overview of the importance of buried infrastructure. And again, underground infrastructure, we don't talk about it very much. It is part of the environment. It's part of the planning process. And what we do as engineers, we make sure that we design, we plan, and we maintain the best underground infrastructure for proper safety, environment, and health. And to do that, we must understand plans and specifications, and of course, government regulations. And that concludes this topic on the importance of underground infrastructure. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. Again, if you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some social and political content, check out my main channel, the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show, which I try to put content out every Wednesday, doing a scam series. And Once I record all my videos, I will put them up on my Twitter page. Videos come from the 411 Talk Zone radio show channel and the QCIS channel. And for the QCIS channel, I take it one step further since this channel is more of an educational channel. The information from tonight's video, just like the previous videos, will go up on my LinkedIn page. And in the end, I just want to thank you all for viewing this content of the importance of underground infrastructure from the QCIS channel. On this channel, you get a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Until next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening.